Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wareham Planning Board meeting of December 8, 2025. We are commencing at 6 p.m. We are located in the Wareham Multi-Service Center at 48 Marion Road in room 520. The meeting is also available online with the Zoom connection that is available on the agenda that is available on the website for the planning board. We will.
Wareham Media.
What's that?
Wareham Media.
Wareham Media, yes. We'll start with a roll call to my left.
Mike Baptiste here, present.
Julie Moran here.
And Jane Gleason here. Carl Schultz is out this evening. Preliminary business, approval of meeting minutes. I'm going to take these individually. I would entertain a motion to approve the November 10, 2025 minutes unless there's any issue with them.
Second.
All in favor? Mike?
Baptiste, aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye. So 400. Next are the meeting notes of November 17, 2025.
So moved.
And a
Second.
All in favor?
Mike Baptiste, aye.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye. And the November 24th meeting minutes, I had an issue with one paragraph that was misattributed that I think is still to be corrected.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
we'll-
save
we'll
those.
abate.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
continue those to the next. Okay, item 2, Planning Board, item 15-25, or Plan 25-15, 80 Makepeace Company for an A&R off Maple Springs Road.
Can we get Rich Bowen on the call, on the
Yeah,
phone?
is Rich Bowen on? He is. Hi, Rich. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, where we left off the last time we were here? Actually, good evening. And your name, if you could spell it as well for the Scrivener and,
Sure. My name is Kenneth Conte, Kenneth, Conte. I'm here with, I'm a professional land surveyor with Beals and Thomas here tonight on behalf of 80 Makepeace, who is the applicant
yes.
on this A&R plan.
And do you have attorney?
Doug Radigan, I believe, is on the line.
Okay. Can he? I can let him in. Thank you.
If you could,
That would be
thank
great. It's 370. What am I doing?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. Doug Radigan for the applicant as well.
Could you spell your name, please, for our Scrivener?
Of course, Douglas, first name, last name Radigan, Radigan.
Thank you very much. So, where we left off with this was that the board contended that there were some issues with this as an A&R, given that in the town bylaws, for an A&R, there's a requirement, the criteria include providing frontage as well as direct access to the lots.
Yes, and I believe, as we left the last discussion, was that our attorney counsel was going to prepare a memorandum describing the statutes and the state law and some case studies on allowances for this particular plan, which indicates parcels, non-buildable, to be non-buildable lots, thereby, indicating that we, don't- there is no frontage, but there is viable access to the parcels from a public street, that being Maple Springs Road. I think you folks were provided the memorandum, and I don't know if you had an opportunity to review it, and if you had any additional questions. I know Mr. Radigan did have a discussion with town council as well, and, you can possibly report on those findings, if you have any other questions.
Yeah, so I think we actually do have some further questions. It became as clear as mud to us, how.
There's a lot of legal ease in there.
There's a lot of gray area and a lot of holes and differences between what the town bylaws say and what state law says, and there were a number of cases that were referenced in the brief from Attorney Radigan, and we've reviewed the A&R handbook and multiple other documents in trying to sort of piece this together. And I still am of a mind that frontage and access are still requirements, and I have not been able to find a way to get around them. So I'm going to see what the board has to say further on that, and I'd also like to get Attorney Bowen and Josh, when he gets settled, having just arrived, have them weigh in as well. Yeah, I think that's how we'll proceed.
I'd like to hear from Rich.
One question I had, which, and then I'll have other questions down the road, but you indicate they're non-buildable except for solar, supporting solar and agricultural. Let's just talk about solar.
Sure.
What is your vision of what aspect of solar a non-buildable lot could support?
Well, respectfully, Madam Chair, if I can direct the question and answer directly, or do you want me to wait until?
No, you can
Answer?
have a conversation.
And I understand
Okay.
that we are not
So-
making an analysis of the zoning bylaw. And I
No, we are
understand
not.
that.
And
Yeah.
just to clarify, I think there is a distinction here that I think we've made one step too far, which is what's shown on this plan, which is an approval not required plan, is the fact that these aren't lots which are triggered under 81L. And that's the point of, and I would agree with Madam Chair that if these were lots upon which we were saying they were buildable, then that is the appropriate examination for this board to do, which is frontage and access. But that's not what this plan shows. And although we did indicate that both solar and agricultural uses are intended potential uses, none of those are before this board this evening for consideration. I think the important thing here is we cannot put under this plan any buildings on anything that's marked as a non-buildable parcel, which is not a lot. And so this is, for all intents and purposes, this exercise that AD Makepeace is undertaking is meant for their internal classification of their land. It's as simple and straightforward as that. We don't have any intention of going forward based on this plan with a solar use. We don't have any intention on this plan going forward with any other use other than to create these non-buildable lots for the purposes of maintaining and organizing our real estate holdings. So if we were required for any use to put a structure on the property, a building, that was taxed under that, then that would be a buildable lot. And so in either of those scenarios, we would come back before this board or another and explain to them with a whole new plan as to what we're looking for. So getting an A&R approved, which is just an approval not required endorsement, is not a step in any direction for the purposes of using this property for any reason for this board to consider.
I think there's this distinction between the term lot and parcel.
We understand,
been-
under the
it's been-
subdivision control law.
Right. So a lot would be required to have frontage and access. In my 40 years, we've always called parcels non-buildable lots, or not to be considered buildable lots. And that's why these are labeled as parcels and not lots. It's a little distinction, but I think there's case law to support that.
Yeah, that's a distinction that I was having trouble finding in state statute. Any differentiation between lot and parcel, and I understand that it is a differentiation that is made, it's a common differentiation that's made among engineers and land planners, but I don't see it in the language of the state law.
General laws, right, and that's why we
It's
have
in-
case law, right? That's why.
It's in
Doug
chapter
provided-
41 in the definitions of 81 L and P.
Yeah, I understand.
I see lot, but I don't see anything that talks about parcel.
Right.
Right, but then the definition of a lot is for the purposes of building.
Correct.
And,
And
and,
I-
and what we're saying here is, we're not building. And so it's not a lot, and so I think if we did not make the distinction on our plan, then yes, the subdivision review would trigger, and that would be your analysis. If we had, for example, taken these 3 lots and instead of, I'm sorry, called them lots instead of parcels and a lot, then that's a distinction with a huge difference. Then I agree with you, your analysis is, do we meet the frontage, do we meet access? That's what an approval not required plan does. The ministerial action of looking at a plan, the fact that we're not calling these lots, we're calling them non-buildable parcels, means that your endorsement on this is not an endorsement on any use or for any reason other than to say, we did not trigger a review where we were creating lots. And lots meaning that we were going to be able to put a building or some structure on them. That's not what this plan does. And so because we aren't trying to do that, and we clearly delineate, we are in fact not doing that, then that is where the beginning and end of this board's review should be. Now, if it was the case that we had proposed structures on this or said we were going to build, then the language we would use on the plan would be, it's a lot. And we'd be creating new lots, and then it would be subject to the review we talked
Yes,
about.
understood.
And the other minor detail, but it's still important, is that when we started the overall perimeter of this land that we have in front of you, we have 3 current assessors parcels that all have the same characteristics as the 3 parcels that we're proposing. Each parcel doesn't have frontage and is surrounded by the other parcels. All we're really doing, in essence, is redistributing lines that already existed and creating 3 different parcels, but same characteristics as what we already
And
have.
Ken, if I can add to your presentation that we do have access, and it's not illusory access, we have access to all these parcels through either an easement agreement or through 80 Makepeace's other land holdings that abut and adjoin these properties.
So,
I would add that the requirement for access is particularly for first responders.
Correct.
And I would say that the roadways that are there, we don't know whether they would support a first responder vehicle or not.
Well, and I guess my other question, parcel three, as I recall, is buildable. It doesn't say it's non-buildable, correct?
Parcel 3, there has always been one lot that, so we're not subdividing,
Right.
which is what the subdivision trigger. So yes, one lot had always existed. We aren't creating 2 lots, we're not creating 3 lots. We're showing a plan that has as many lots as have already been approved and showing 2 parcels in addition to that, which are not lots. And with
So I'm
respect
just
to the-
looking at your explanation, because in the application, all of the boxes we typically see were left blank. And then at the end, you say, parcel 1 and 2 are not to be considered separate building lots, yes. Supporting a solar facility, which is interesting language. Parcel 3, remaining land has access and frontage. So, to me, we're looking at an A&R, are we not, for all 3? So,
You are not.
don't we have the question that Jane has raised on frontage? Is there an easement that gets you to the access? Is there an existing easement?
So I'll answer the first question, and I want to address what I think is a misstatement. So the gating issue here is whether or not we're creating lots and not designating parcels. There's one lot already on this, irrespective of the plan that's shown, there's one lot. There's still one lot, and then there's 2 additional parcels that are not available for use for buildings.
Right.
And those do not trigger a review. Now, with respect to access, there is access, and I think Ken can speak to the access. There's access through adjoining properties, and there's access through easement arrangements, which are described in my letter of explanation, which was, I'll agree that probably wasn't spelled out in writing, but it's shown the easement access on the plan, and I'd have to have Ken show that to you with respect to
And
where that is.
are they recorded easements?
Yes, there's one recorded easement over adjacent land not owned by 80 Mapeace, right off of Maple
But does
Springs.
it get to the boundary of parcel 3?
Excuse me?
Does it reach?
Yes, yes.
And I don't see it
It's at
on
the
here.
southeasterly corner of the property. There's,
There it is.
I think it's the Sportsman, the Wareham Sports,
Wareham Athletic Association.
yeah, Athletic.
Yeah, I'm just
There's an
looking at
easement across that property, which there is physical access.
it. Do you make reference to the easement, the book and page? I don't see it. Because, we have 2 different things going on here.
quite a bit.
Parcel 3 is very different from non-buildable 1 and 2, so. And those 3 lots are before us based on your application, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, one lot's before you, 2 parcels are shown on that.
Yeah.
That's.
Lot, parcel, agreed, Doug, yes, yes.
I say LC document number.
I, quite frankly, I don't think if we wanted to add a statement to parcel 3 that it's also to be considered a not a buildable lot, I know Mapeace would have no issue with
These
adding
do
that
have-
as well.
These do have an easement and, I'm guessing, land court? LC?
Yeah, they were land
Yeah, that's
court,
land
but they've been, you removed them from land court, did you not? You withdrew them?
Yeah, but the documents still, all the documents that are recorded at Land Court are
They're
still
on both
valid.
sides, they're probably recorded on both sides at this point. Okay, yeah, that's just the land court reference
Yeah.
to the document.
Yeah.
Rich, can we ask you to give us the benefit of your counsel on this,
My pleasure. Madam Chairman,
through the chair?
members of,
Excuse me.
yeah, no, sorry, Julie. Madam Chairman and members of the board, good evening. I think the issues in front of you are straightforward. Question number 1, is there access to the parcels? And is it meaningful access? Does the applicant actually have the right to use that access? So call that group one of questions. The second question or group of questions is, do the parcels have frontage on this way that's being used to support access? So those are the only two things in front of you. So getting back to the first group of questions, the access, it can be a public way, it can be a private way. It's for you to determine whether the access on that way is adequate. And by adequate, we mean, can it support public safety vehicles? I was earlier telling Madam Chairman about a case I did a number of years ago where where the access on a property was an issue, and we did a view, took the judge out, and the judge's vehicle got stuck in the mud. Well, you know, we won that case because quite obviously access wasn't adequate, and His Honor was displeased. So it's up for you to determine whether the access is adequate. I mean, you can take into account the types of vehicles that typically traverse the road. You can take into account whether vehicles could pass side by side, you know, things of that nature. Now, related, you'd want to know that the applicant has the ability to use the access. The questions that you've been asking about easements, I think, are pertinent in that regard. And perhaps that's something that you'd want to have noted on the application or on the plan, just so that that becomes a matter of your record. And then there's the issue of frontage. In places that don't have zoning requirements for frontage, I believe that the minimum is 20 feet. Well, we do have a requirement for frontage, and Madam Chair, you can correct me, I think it's 200 feet in this case. And so the question would be, do you have that much frontage for each of these parcels on the way? And if the answer to all that is yes, then your job is done. You issue an endorsement. That's as much scope of review as you have on an A&R. I think it's been referred to as a ministerial task. You're basically just looking at the plan for sufficiency. Number one, you look at it to determine whether it's a subdivision. And if it's not a subdivision, then you take it up as an A&R. And then you apply the criteria about access and frontage. So I think that's where you're at. Questions of buildability or future use really aren't in front of you. If after an A&R is endorsed, you know, any person who gets that endorsement can then try their luck with the building department to get a building permit. And it's at that point that the beginning of the determinations will be made as to whether something can be buildable or usable for any particular purpose. But that's a future consideration. That's not in front of you tonight. Tonight it's just, is there access? Does the applicant have the right to use the access? And is there enough frontage on that access? And if the answer to all that is yes, then you must endorse the application. Thank you.
So I think that's consistent with what
We've
I've
been
been
asking, yeah.
putting out there. Josh, do you want to weigh in at all?
Yeah, in my opinion, it looks like there needs to be some plan revisions to the frontage and access to parcels 1 and 2. I think that can be done with plan revisions. It looks like there are, I won't say adequate ways because that's for you all to determine, but it looks like there is some type of way that goes in line with these parcels, so that could be determined. And then when I'm looking at, you know, if the criteria, if the criteria that we are determining to be adequate for a way is based off of fire apparatus, something that's we expect may need to go out there. I would say a lot of fire trucks, when they are loaded, whether they be a pumper or a tanker, usually 1,000 gallons is right where they're at. And then when you take into the effect the cab and the chassis and all that, I would say your standard fire truck is probably around 40 or 50,000 pounds. Your standard ladder truck is probably somewhere around 75,000 pounds. And I'm definitely not a cranberry expert. Mike, you might know more about this than I do. But it looks like a tractor trailer full of cranberries could weigh anywhere from 70 to 80,000 pounds. So,
Well, I guess I would ask how far into the site a truck loaded with cranberries is actually going. I would guess that they would probably want to go into the nearest corner of the bog and fill up and turn around and leave. So they're maybe not getting the full distance into these parcels 1 and 2. So I guess I would like to see
I believe that
confirmation.
sorry to interrupt you, but we checked find out the activity that's been out there recently, and I believe the adjacent property has some tree clearing done, and they did use the easement that we have on our plan that goes across our property to move trees and logs, and it was substantial, probably heavier than cranberry trailer filled. So the access across the property, I'd say, would be sufficient for vehicles like we would call H20 loading, which is fire apparatus or emergency vehicles.
And the tree clearing was done not by AG Makepeace, by someone.
Yeah, I believe, yep, Jason.
So,
I've walked the property many, many times, and a lot of it is accessible, but a lot of it is little tiny
Bog roads.
parcels that you couldn't get a fire truck through.
that you could
Could not.
Could not.
not.
You can get to the bog, and they're gonna well, Mike can probably tell you more than I can. They're gonna harvest the bog where the easiest access is. You can tell where that is, all the berries around. The other end of the bog, where the little roads are, and the ditches, the pipes go under the road, I don't think they could support it. There is some access, but it's not totally accessible.
So I guess I would practically think that the access road to the parcels would need to be
And the 20-foot wide access
confirmed
easement.
that it's,
Yes.
Yeah.
capable of supporting first
Not twisting
responder
and turning
vehicles.
as well.
Well, yes, but access to one part of the parcel, what about the back part of the parcel? That's not accessible with a fire truck. Yeah, I'll take it there for a walk.
That's why 200-foot frontage becomes important too, wide, like that. Okay. I think we have someone from the community. Raise
Yeah.
their hand.
Is there anyone from the community who wishes to weigh in? Yes, if you'd like to come up to the table, state your name and spell it for me, please. Forrest Scrivener.
My name is Faith Barron. And I used to be a firefighter up in Idaho and also in California for CAL FIRE. And I will say that it would be a good idea for you guys to go out and look at the roads. Many of them are not 20-foot wide. They have culverts underneath them, those pipes, that I don't believe would, be able to sustain the weight of a fire truck. And you're going to end up with the fire truck being stuck. Also, a lot of those access roads are gated and locked. So it'd be a good idea and no trespassing signs everywhere. So it'd be a good idea to take a look, go out to the property and see what those roads really look like. They're muddy, messy, I mean, I don't think a fire truck could get down the roads. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Brush breakers they have in town will never make it. That's for sure.
Madam Chair,
Never make it.
Madam Chairman,
Yes?
Rich here. In terms of the suitability of access, the road or the way that you're concerned with would be the main access road. Interior roads that branched off of that access road would not be a part of your consideration. So you would be interested in the status or condition of the road or the way from which the frontage is derived, rather than internal roads.
Yes, a direct access route to the parcels and the frontage.
The 200-foot frontage.
Yes,
Right.
Correct.
yes. I understood. Thank
Yeah, and I
you.
wasn't as clear as I could have been on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So could you address that?
Yeah, the direct
Main road.
access has been used right across the property, right over parcels, I believe, right to parcel 2. And then there's another spur that goes up toward parcel 1.
So I assume you mean the route that is the,
The dashed,
yeah,
thicker dashed line creates right across.
Yeah.
That would be the main route being used.
so,
So they go by them, but they don't hit them, correct? Looking at this, that's the main road? So it doesn't really hit either parcel?
you're saying that there are spurs off of that that go directly to the site that have been used recently?
I can't say that
Well, and-
100%, but
We would want confirmation of that anyway.
I can, Makepeace is not in any rush to do this, and we're happy to, do whatever you need to do to make you satisfied and content with what we're showing you, so.
So I think,
So I think it's resolving through the chair.
Yeah.
Frontage,
That we
200-foot, finding 200-foot frontage, and,
and an access.
yeah, vital access, as we call it, satisfying us on that.
So I think that's, I don't think.
And
we
you,
need
and
it.
you're, when you use the word frontage and 200 feet, you're speaking of which for the main parcel, the big parcel 3 that has direct frontage.
Well, 1 and 2. I mean, they were talking about all 3.
1 and 2.
Yeah,
One, you would have to have frontage
yeah,
and access. And the
Yes.
frontage would be off of any of these accessible roads.
right.
Right, that the capacity is
Okay.
confirmed, that they can
Sure.
support.
So our challenge is that we are 21 days beyond. We had a mutually agreed upon extension, so.
Yes. How do we do this? Josh, any?
Well, you're still within the agreed upon extension.
We
You
are.
could agree to another extension.
Okay,
Yeah,
We would be agreeable to that.
which would not impact, the 21 days would not have an automatic approval,
okay.
right?
So,
I
extension
mean, we just feel these
to-
are important questions.
Yeah, extension
Ask
to,
and get
we need
clarity
a
on.
date specific. So, our next meeting is the 22nd.
Right? Would you feel like you would have that information, and including a copy of the access easement? There's the 25-foot access easement. I
Okay.
assume it's in
Yeah.
writing.
To the,
Hopefully, it's recorded, which would make me even happier.
And
Does-
is anything specific that you're looking for other than my word to tell you that that is accessible?
I think that the width of the roads would be helpful.
the width of the roads and some documentation that it's got the capacity that it's been supporting vehicles already, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see what
Would-
Makepeace has for.
Yeah.
there.
And, kind of reasonable maintenance. We're not asking, we all
We
live
can take
on-
some
Many of
photographs.
us live on dirt
I
roads.
could
We get
provide you
it.
with some photographs or
Yeah, yeah. it'd be
maybe a
helpful
video or
To understand,
come up with something.
yeah.
We comfortable with that?
And just so we don't get
Stick a
tied up
firefighter
on
there.
the extension period, because the applicant does want to work through any issues rather than force, a decision based on a lack of time for the board's consideration. We could fashion the extension so that it can be, we can give the board 3 business days past the next meeting that 80 Makepeace asks to be put on your calendar, with the idea that we will shoot for the 22nd, weather depending, and, documentation depending, and given holidays and everything else, we may want to push that into the new year. But, if we form the extension so that it's, the time period is held in abeyance until 3 days after the conclusion of the meeting at which 80 Makepeace asked for this to be reconsidered.
That would be acceptable. Do you want to just, right from the get-go, push to the meeting following the 22nd, which is January 12th?
I'd leave that to Ken, to make that decision. But I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, if we can have everything ready for the 22nd, we're happy to, I'd like to try and get it done before the end of the year, but if we have to go to the 12th, that's.
Yeah. So just so you know, we get our agenda out the Thursday midday or
Okay, so
late
next
morning,
Thursday.
Thursday prior to our Monday meeting. So we would need to know by then.
That would be fine.
That's fine.
So we'll put you on our agenda for the 22nd, but we'll vote on that as motion to continue to December 22nd.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Baptiste, aye.
Sorry, Julie Marie and I.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Looking at
And
Carl's next to me.
Jane Gleason, aye. So we will see you on December 22nd.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Derek.
Chair. Thank you, members of the board, and Attorney Bowen for joining us this evening.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Attorney Bowen.
Thank you, Rich.
Bye, gang.
Right. Thank you.
I don't see, isn't this a Bill Madden?
Next item on the agenda is item 17-25, Patricia Akins, A&R, 42 Blackmore Pond Circle. So, if you would state your name and spell it for our Scrivener's benefit.
Brian Grady, Grady, with GAF Engineering, here for the applicant. Sorry to disappoint you, I'm not Mr. Madden.
No
That's fine,
disappointment.
Brian.
This might be a little simpler than the previous A&R. What we're looking to do here, what the Akins are looking to do here, is add a parcel of land to an existing lot. So we're creating, on your plan, what you see as lot or parcel 10,004A. That's coming out of the parcel 10,004. That will be combined with Lot B, which is 42 Blackmore Pond Circle, giving that lot, when all is said and done, 5 acres. The reason for that is this property contains an organic hemp farm and a trout farm, so that 5 acres is going to help them with their licensing and paperwork at the state level.
C1A.
Yeah, we're not creating any additional lots. There's a lot here, one lot. There'll be one lot afterwards. So 10,004 is owned by Patricia Akins as the trustee for Clay Pond Trust. Lot B is owned by Patricia Akins, trustee for the Waterhole Trust.
So we'll be taking some of that land out of the Clay Pond Trust and combining it with the adjacent parcel, the Waterhole Trust. And again, it's for agricultural purposes. There's an organic hemp farm and a trout farm on the property.
And it looks like there's frontage and access and plenty of area.
That was, subdivision was May 11th, 1951. I said November, sorry. But
So, any questions, any comments? Josh, do you have any? Julie?
Make a motion, we endorse the 8 hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Maybe if you stay.
Julie Marie and I.
Sam Corbett, aye.
And Jane Gleason, aye. So,
Thanks very much.
thank you.
Good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item number 11-19, request for extension of planning permit originally approved June 10, 2019 for 16 Broad Street. So to the extent that you can, if you could state your name and spell it.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission and staff. My name is Alan Gifford, A-L-A-N-G-I-F-F-O-R-D.
Thank you.
My role in this is coordinator. To start with, it's not, in 2019, it started off with 0 Broad Street off, but it's now called 16 Broad Street. I hope that will help to reduce the confusion. My role as a coordinator, I was helping with my client, Yvonne Dunkel. She is the owner of the property. In 2019, the planning approved it. It was done with Ted Staples at that time. Then the property was sold to Yvonne Dunkel in 2020, October. Immediately right after that, we applied for conservation department. So we installed the hay bales. First of all, we did start work within 2 years. Things like what? First, we contacted an architect and started drawing and having the drawings done. Second, we had conservation department, but it took them about 8 months before we got the approval to install. Third, we went ahead and had driveway clear and the site cleared. So all the trees have been cut. Then further complicated things was COVID-19. It also made communication more difficult for people with hearing loss. When this office, the town was completely shut down. But not putting blame on anybody. As you look at the chart of the timetable, sewer moratorium lasted to end of 2024. At that, when we had discussion with the sewer commission, they said, fine, but as soon as she bought the property, about 1 week later, sewer moratorium was declared by the state of Massachusetts. During that time, we have an agreement with the planning and conservation that no septic system will be installed. So therefore, building permit could not be issued because we could not hook up to the sewer system. But we've already got plans, we've already paid deposit with water department and everything else. At this time, the only thing that's holding up our application for the building permit is this, the planning commission. When we following through with this, there is no plan to deviate. We continue the same. But I don't think it was clear to both the building department and the plan commission that construction, we've already started working on it, but we were just held up by the sewer. And then when we applied for the second time, the building department was going through the checklist. Boom, make sure everything was done, this. And at that was this very reason, the planning commission said, oh, the permit expired. But wait a minute, we've already started working on the project. And I don't think that it was that clear. So for tonight, our objective is to get the clarification from the planning commission to allow us to proceed with 16 Broad Street. And there's nothing that needs to be done or taken your time. That's the only thing that we would like to have clarification. So it's up to the planning commission to make that determination. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. So I think my perspective on this is that we need to determine whether work was substantially commenced, and is that the trigger that sort of stops the clock?
Yeah. What the decision ends up saying is that work needs to commence within 2 years.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, then the permit expires.
Right. So I guess that we would need a determination of whether that substantial commencement of work has actually taken place. And then if that has not happened, think what we will need to do, because we cannot extend a permit that has expired because there's nothing for us to extend.
Yeah.
What we would have to do, and we've done that, we did this very recently for somebody who had extenuating circumstances that their permit lapsed. They came before us looking for an extension, and they had to reapply so that there was a permit. But we worked very diligently with them to make it a quick process. You've already been approved once, so we're not looking necessarily to hold you up, but we cannot extend something that has expired.
Yeah.
It's a procedural thing.
And it's actually in our zoning bylaw, because what it says is the application for an extension beyond the original 2 years shall be filed prior to the expiration. So in the perfect world, you would have come before us and said, these are the issues before, June of 2021, and we could have extended it. And so, as a matter of law, the permit's expired. But to Madam Chair's point, we want to see how we can
Yes, so,
help you get this done.
so I think the question is whether, if the permit's duration took it until, correct me if I'm wrong, June of 2021,
Correct.
then we would need to somehow confirm that substantial work had commenced prior to that date. So if that happened, then the permit remains in good standing.
Except for also the further support, which for good cause, which is there was a sewer moratorium.
Right, so that would need to play
That kind of
into
is
the,
layered on to help our applicant.
yes.
Because you couldn't have, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, couldn't have put up a building and got a building
So-
permit because of the moratorium. So, to my mind, that is an aspect of good cause.
Yeah, I don't know if the town's taken that position in terms of the sewer moratorium before. What I have presented on the screen here is an image of 16 Broad Street, March 30th of 21. The next image I have here is September 20th of 21. So you can see they've started to cut in the roadway with a cul-de-sac, or maybe that's that's probably the buildable, where the house is being constructed.
Yes.
The other thing I would like to bring up is during COVID, the state issued COVID tolling,
They did.
which was an additional 500 days onto any permit, which this permit would be a beneficiary of.
Okay.
So when we start to look at the actual expiration of this with the COVID tolling, it's, an additional 500 days.
Yeah.
So about a year and a half.
Right.
So.
This is much closer.
So the question that may be asked, and maybe the board could determine now, is clearing and probably what is some minor grading constitution of, the start of work?
Is that building?
Yeah, I guess I'm struggling getting around the automatically expires. What I would hate to see is we're not real clear in our decision, and they get to the building department, and the building department says no. Paul
Yeah.
Turner,
So does it-
very diligent as he is,
Right.
rightfully so.
And
Does
And-
does it state that it needs to be building that has commenced or construction that has commenced? I haven't, I'm gonna put my finger on the language.
It's
Let's see if I have the plan
1553,
here.
it's on page 168, Jane, of the
Yeah,
bylaws.
I'm just
I
getting
think the thought is that come before us and then show us why you need an extension for good cause and that you've commenced construction, right?
I mean, I guess I would say if these are lots for sale, that the construction of the road, in my mind, would constitute commencement of the
I don't
work.
know.
I just want to get them around the building department taking the position.
That-
It expired without us doing more for our friends here.
Yes.
Yeah.
The building department said that the first application for the building permit, rules have changed. So they killed it.
Okay.
Then for the second application, what was changed from the first was that we had to have HERS, the efficiency, that was not required in the original. And the second part was we needed to have a survey plot showing the setbacks. That was not required in the first. So with the setbacks, it took us about surveyor to go out in there and do it. As far as for the COVID, we put down the date. It was officially over by May of 2023.
Right.
So you will see that we put the actual dates for the sewer moratorium
Yes.
and the COVID.
Yeah. So it almost sounds like you've done some of the work that reflects changes, Josh, since 2019, the special permits. So you may have already done all the work. If, Madam Chair, if we ask them to come before us again and,
Yeah,
One question.
yeah.
What is the purpose of planning permit? I mean, planning permit, we have approved, this is our intent to do this. We've already decided, okay? And we did. We follow with the driveway and that. We couldn't do anything more because we're following with that, okay? But once we start, then what governs the project is the building permit. Or am I wrong?
well, there are inspections that need to be done by the planning department to ensure that the work is, on the site, is done according to what was agreed to. So it's not sort of a done deal once you've started. There's more to it than that.
We did send a letter to the commissioner of the building department informing them of the delays, and they approved it and told us to proceed. So,
With the road construction, or,
Can I just, I'm sorry, I have one
oh,
question.
with the, they tried to stop us from continuing shortly after we finished with the hay bales. And we told them that we've done this and this and that. They went out. It was Mr. Turner, who was new at that time. He just, and we told him about it. He went out, he looked it over, he says, continue, proceed. And that we did.
yeah,
But not to start building,
houses.
pouring concrete foundation, but he
Right.
told us we can proceed to continue what we needed to do.
With the site work,
The site work, yeah.
Uh,
Josh,
yes, with the site work, and not, you weren't prepared to start with any building work
Right.
yet. So it was site work that was proceeding. And there's sort of a process that you need to go through with the site work for a project that includes a number of inspections, which the hay bales being placed is the beginning of it, but not the end of it.
Right.
So I think that's where the permit for the site, for the subdivision is critical to,
We have established points for the foundations, for that. We had that installed. And we had surveyors verifying we were protecting the bounds and so forth, and getting ready for it to be excavated for bondage. That's already been established. So that was the part that he approved for us to continue to put the points in and so forth, but not to excavate yet. But I'm just saying, we were doing work.
yeah.
Our contractor is David Andre.
yeah,
okay.
you know, David.
So,
Can I just ask one question, just a clarifying?
yeah,
Our planning boards, one of the planning board staff had mentioned this was special permit. This is a subdivision, not a special permit. I just want to
yeah,
clear, because it was, we
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier, so, anyway,
yeah.
it's a subdivision,
lost
which
my-
is better, and I apologize.
No, that's okay. So is the building department holding you up from getting building?
Planning board is holding us up because building department is saying, hey, you guys said that the planning permit expired, therefore, we can't proceed. That's the
So-
only thing at this time.
So by the dates, first blush, it looks like it has expired. But I think that there are some extenuating circumstances that we need to consider. And
Does this meet all code today? Is one of my main concerns.
Yeah, we'd have to look at that.
Right.
Um,
I mean, we've made changes in the last year
yeah,
that would affect this.
One of,
well, it still would be under the zoning bylaws at the time that it was passed.
Right, but what about the bylaws today?
you'd have to do a new application. You need a new
I mean,
application.
Well, so I think what we need to
This
do
was
is.
okay 6 years ago. Is it still okay?
Right, but I think that, right, well, there's that, but I think that we need to look at whether the sewer moratorium and COVID, and there are a whole list of things that may have legitimately slowed it down.
We approved a whole bunch of subdivisions during that time.
Okay,
Now, I have multiple questions, but
Yeah,
what I've always done in the past is it's expired.
yeah, that's where
I have a hard time going beyond that.
I do too,
And we've
I do too,
been consistent with that.
yep,
and
and we
And
just did it
I'm-
recently.
concerned about, for these folks, they go ahead and build, let's say you go get a mortgage, or you're selling, someone is going to see a permit that expired, and you don't end up having an as-built, Josh? Wouldn't you need an as-built on this? Or
At the
maybe-
end of it,
Yeah.
well, actually, no, your original.
You've got a
the-
subdivision.
Yeah,
so-
your original permit didn't condition as as-built be
Required.
produced to the board.
Okay. So that's,
So it sounds like,
it's, I will say that the language in our bylaw isn't perfect.
you remember when it went
I was
through.
on this, yeah.
No.
And the thing is, I think with COVID in place, that extension, it still should be live by the rules from before. You know, I don't think we should put it to the new rules, because this was done before. You know, it's a subdivision, two-lot subdivision. And so a lot of waivers would, added in this and that. It should stand the way it
I'm not
is.
sure it's changed that much.
I don't think it matters.
I'm not sure that, so our subdivision rules and regs have changed much since
Well,
2019.
No,
Well,
Yeah,
definitive subdivisions have a freeze of 8 years.
right.
So the fact that they applied and have a definitive subdivision, they are under the effect of the bylaw at the time
was
that
in
it was
place.
approved.
substantial
right.
amount of work has been
So-
done.
So,
Roads put in and right
right,
after that.
you're right, Josh, exactly right.
There is a zoning freeze on the bylaw,
on the
so they wouldn't be
Yeah.
required to meet new changes.
Yeah.
But, so, I'll expand on the way that this got here. So they applied for the building permit, I review the building permit to see that they're in conformance with zoning at the time.
Yep.
And that's when I reviewed the decision that the planning board made and determined that it was expired. So I think the question could boil down to tonight is, does the planning board believe that the clearing of the lot for the road and the house is that substantial construction to the project?
I would say yes,
Yeah,
but I'd feel most comfortable if they just resubmitted.
I would-
well,
And we
and
go
I
through and
wonder
just
if
do
they're
it.
gonna run into problems down the road. I wonder if there are gonna be problems down the road
You,
if we vote to extend what appears to be an expired permit.
just
and that it-
recently, you guys have taken the alternative stance
Yeah,
of,
right.
there was a subdivision on,
Church.
no,
There was one that
Halt.
we requested that they reapply, come back, and it was a very quick turnaround.
Mike, it's
Crooked River
over.
Road.
What's that?
The one on off of Crooked River Road, right?
Crooked River.
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
West Wareham, the liquor store on 58 with the Patriots helmet in front of it.
Okay, the one at Pepper's
Yep.
on top of it.
All right, so I'm coming from Rochester into Wareham.
Yeah.
What's the street on the right after that?
Weaver Street.
Weaver.
Weaver. You guys just made Weaver Street reapply for a very similar to scenario to this. They had most of the land cleared. They had a sub-base of the road in,
Okay.
and they reapplied
I
because
think
it was
that in the
expired.
long run, for the applicant, it's going to be a better result. That there's going to be no question about the validity of their permitting. And so I think it probably,
And it appears that you have done all of the work. So it would really be gathering, frankly, what you've provided to us, submitting a new application, and we can get it on our agenda quickly.
yes.
I
I
do
think that
worry
that-
that something could be raised later on, but,
Your staff, I met with Mr. Farity and the secretary. I have to commend on their professionalism and friendliness and patience with a dumb old civil engineer. Okay? Now, I was told that we need to apply for Form C instead of F, because F was already done, and we've submitted copies of F that was done before. Now, I know that subdivision meaning like more than one house, so, but that's not the case in this situation. We are only building a single-family home.
Right.
Okay? The property to the left is owned by Wareham Land Trust. And the property on the right is by Mary Mann Estates and so forth. So
Staples owned.
there will be no road going through there. There will be a driveway as per the Conservation and Planning Board agreement.
Yep.
So we are trying to maintain that to be as pristine as possible.
Being not being a subdivision, it should be easy.
yes.
Yeah.
So it should be.
This is one
And
house. that should be-
Josh, relative to Concom, Concom was approved, that approval was obtained, correct?
Yeah,
So we don't need to be concerned about that?
I just want to see when it is set to expire.
Okay.
But with it being, when you guys applied for the conservation permits, it was, a duration after the original subdivision, so you may have benefited from some additional tolling that exists. I just want to look at the table here. It looks like conservation was approved in May of '21, so it would have been in effect May of '24, and January 1st of '24 to January 1st of '25, the state gave an additional 2 years' worth of tolling.
Right.
So I believe they would still be
In that,
in the
Mass
benefit
Land
of an
Act,
approved
the 2
uh,
years. Okay.
conservation permit.
Okay.
That's
um,
helpful,
Yeah,
makes it
that is
pretty easy.
helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke with Miss Christine,
Mhm.
and she reviewed it, and she said she has no concern, and there is no reason to continue with it because the construction of the house is more than 100 feet away from the vernal pool.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And
So-
what Josh had just said is you had the benefit of the moratorium. There's a window that your Concom fell into So you should be fine on that. So
Okay.
it's really just this resubmittal of your subdivision plan.
But should we do express a concern about the validity of the permit for down the road? I appreciate your concerns on our behalf, okay? Maybe what is, we just need to obtain your advisement. So that will be clear to the building department so we can proceed.
Technically, we're gonna not.
Act.
Not act, right. Where our position is that there is no permit in place, there's nothing for us to act on.
Right.
So,
So you don't have to deny, because there is no permit.
right, right.
So,
Just so I'm clear, what we're asked to do is
with an extension.
approve an extension.
Right,
So we're gonna deny the extension.
correct.
Make that motion. Move forward.
Yeah.
Let's explain why.
Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Mike Bexley.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye.
Maybe we can explain why we denied it, what it means.
I think they should make an appointment with Josh.
Yeah, I think that,
One-on-one,
yeah,
help them just,
I think,
Come on down to my office.
that's the best bet.
I hope not.
And we look
the
forward to
best way.
seeing you
Yep.
in front of
No, you're
us.
right.
yes,
And we can,
Okay,
Thank you for all the work,
thank you.
thank you for all the work you've done.
yes, this is a very
This
good
is-
start
this
for
is
us.
nice,
This is
yeah.
very helpful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Except for the colored paper.
When we do this one,
My printer went crazy.
time back,
I know.
the biggest hiccup
Yeah,
was
I
at
ran
Gorilla
out of
Pool.
my thing.
Yeah,
Kept
yeah,
getting
right.
lighter.
Because Staples and Mann is a married family. They have property all over the place, like the Gleasons.
Yeah.
Your father-in-law had property.
Right.
His
One more.
mother
Everywhere,
had
yeah.
property
Yeah,
everywhere,
everywhere, yep,
everywhere.
yep.
Yeah, but I remember that one clear as day.
Well, I think that was the right,
And here we go again, COVID put
Well
cuts
done,
on
well
that.
done, Madam Chair.
so, denied, 400. Reapply. Okay. Next item on the agenda, under continued public hearings, is 3-25, 1031 Pierceville Road, definitive subdivision. Definitive residential subdivision, excuse me.
I believe Jamie Bissonette is on Zoom. John, if we can let him in.
Isn't this continued? Is this?
Okay.
Jamie, I think you're in. You just need to unmute yourself. Jamie, I can see that you're unmuted, but we don't hear anything on our end.
There we go. Good evening.
Hi, sorry about that.
If you could state your name and your affiliation with the project, and if you'd spell your name as well for our Scrivener, that would be helpful.
Certainly. My name is Jamie Bissonette. I'm an engineer with Zenith Consulting Engineers. My name is spelt Jamie. Last name is Bissonnette.
Thank you very much. So I understand that a late request came in for a continuance on this project.
Correct.
And I also have been informed that the 53G account is in need of funding.
So that's my understanding, is that the funds to get to the 53G account is the main reason for the continuance tonight. I believe our end of things should be pretty much completed, but we are asking for a continuance so that the funds can be deposited into the account so we can wrap everything up at hopefully the next meeting.
Okay, I guess we will keep that on high alert, looking for that funding for the 53G account. And shall we continue to the 22nd? It's getting fairly full. Or to the 12th of January?
Can we go for the 22nd? And then if there's some kind of an issue, we'll try to give you more heads up prior to the last minute continuance we did tonight. And I do apologize for that.
What else do we have on for the 22nd? We've got 2 East Boulevard, which is going to be lengthy. We have the Off Maple Springs is coming back to us. Is there anything else, Josh, that you can think of?
I don't know if anything came in last week, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Guess we could try it.
All right, we will aim for the 22nd.
Thank you.
I need a board vote to continue this to December 22nd.
Can I just make one?
Yes.
No, that's all right. I'll wait for the meeting. I'll wait till they appear.
Okay.
We're only acting on, this is a continuance
yeah,
request, so.
Yeah.
Jamie, can you just give me an idea when we can expect those funds? We have accounting wanting to close the account. It just creates a larger hassle here at Town Hall.
I don't have an exact date. What I can do is we can reach out to the client tomorrow and then follow up with you, Josh, if that's okay.
Yeah, why don't you give me a call tomorrow?
And I will add that in order for you to get onto the next agenda for the 22nd, that those funds need to be received, I'm going to say by Wednesday, end of day, because Thursday is when we put the agenda together for the Monday meeting.
Okay.
So it
And
would
can
be-
I add in good funds?
Yes, yep, so it would be Wednesday, the 17th, and it needs to be a cashier's check or I guess cash or bank check or something that is,
Or wire?
I think we've already established how it will be funded.
okay, all right, very good.
All right.
But the timing is the key part of that.
Understood.
All right, so we've got a motion to continue to the 22nd? And a
So
second?
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Mike Baptiste, aye.
Julie Marie and I.
Sam Corbett, nay.
Jane Gleason, aye.
All right. Thank you.
3:30 today. I don't give a crap. I'm tired of that.
Okay, public hearings. I believe I need to read this one. We've got 370 County Road before us. I'm going to grab the paperwork. As this is a new public hearing, we need to open the public hearing, and I will read the notice. The Wareham Planning Board will hold a public hearing on December 8, 2025 at 6 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02571, to consider petition number 16-25 for a site plan review special permit from the requirements of Table 320, Article 5, Section 590, and Article 15 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to 370 County Road LLC, care of Prime Engineering, Inc., of 350 Bedford Street, Lakeville, Massachusetts, 02347, proposing a ground-mounted photovoltaic solar array located at 370 County Road, parentheses, Assessors Map 64, lots 1006, 1008, 1009, 1010, and Map 65, lots 1000A, 1000B, and 1001, end parentheses, in the R60 zoning district.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Mike Baptiste, aye.
Julie Marie and I.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye. The hearing is open. And if you could state your name and your, spell it for our Scrivener, and tell us your position on the project.
Okay, my name is Eric Chrysler, ERIC-CHRISLER. I'm the managing member of 370 County Road. So I represent that organization as well as our landowners, Pat and Pat Zimmer, who's in the back of the room, with Daniel Zimmer.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So
Swear in.
Yes. Could you raise your right hand? This is your right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. As a
First of all,
professional, we need to do that.
no, absolutely. First of all, thank you all for everything you're doing, and for letting me try to convince you that this is the kind of solar array that you can get behind. So let me start by saying that what we tried to do to get to the point we are right now is to make a concession to minimize the size of the array. That was one of the fundamental things that came about, that we wanted to offer in a way to get through the settlement agreement that was put together. So that's one of the key things. And I think I want to focus there for a moment, because I think that it is important to note how much smaller it actually is. So I had something done over at Kinko's today that is I think a good representation of what we're doing here. If you all can see, the red area is what is staying. The blue areas are what we had before that are going to now be removed. So we're going from 5,767 solar panels to 2,700 solar panels. So a significant reduction. And this is also, after making the concession of course, removing storage from the plant, which actually happened a while ago. So what's important here is that the array is is really a small part of this property. Where we are now is that the array is 8% of the property size. So, and this is a property that the owners have agreed to, as a concession, largely put into conservation. That was something that they made me aware of today, so that's another part of the offer. To me, it feels like what we're doing here is letting a solar system go forward so that the owners can continue to own the property and use that income to be able to own the property. And I'm not sure how, I know you all have walked it, but there's a reservoir going through the property that has tons of wildlife. So this seems to me like the kind of property that would be, very advantageous to have be put into a conservation easement. My engineer has gone as far as to make the statement that if we keep the grass under the array, it'll be an improvement for the environmental impacts or for the critters. It'll protect the natural resources. And what is also very positive about this array is that it sits in a place where there isn't any possibility of someone coming along and looking at it or seeing it through their window. We've changed the kinds of inverters in this array. This is something new. We're going to go with string inverters, which means they're going to be a lot smaller. They don't really make any noise compared to the big ones that sit on the concrete pads. So there won't be really anything audible here. So I think that it just has a lot of attributes that make it different, than a lot of the big arrays. Also, what we have agreed to do is use a type of panel that doesn't have PFAS, which is the sort of the plastic that stays around forever. So this was a concern from some of the abutters or the folks in the neighborhood or the community that were, really were upset about the potentiality of water, hitting the panels and over time leaching some sort of pollutant into the water table. So other attributes of the array that, let's see if there's, I think those are the fundamental things that we've done to make it more attractive, hopefully to you, and to make it something that you can get behind. I will say that I am not a solar developer. I've developed 2 or 3 projects, but I run a construction company that builds solar plants for corporations across the country. We have worked on a couple solar arrays in Massachusetts in the development capacity. We've done some in New York. But in both cases here, we have, for better or for worse, have landed with the kind of owners as a developer you'd really want to work with. And that's an owner that really has a real incentive to have the solar array and really needs it. The first owner we had was Mike Paddock in Carver, and at that time he was really needed an extra income stream. So it was something that was really fundamental to him and helped him keep his farm. So we're not like a lot of the other organizations out there that are, that are putting together portfolios and selling them and not thinking about the community. I'm not sure that matters to you guys, but, that's where we come from, so.
That community part of it matters a great deal to us. Just so that's clear. Where to begin? So, I guess my first question is, you said that there's no storage on site anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Just wanted to confirm that. That's been a big sticking
Big one
point.
for me.
Yeah, that's a big sticking point for this board. So, good that you don't have it.
Yep.
That's sort of our position. So, I'm appreciative of the efforts that have been made to reduce the size of this. Yeah, I guess I will let the board weigh in.
I'm in shock. Just looking at it briefly, I like the way the project's cleaned up compared to what it was originally. I think it's, solar's something that we have to live with. We have no say in the matter anymore, but I think with the client working with us, listening to us a little bit, our concerns and her concerns also, I think it's something that we probably could work with.
I had a couple of questions. And it sounds like you're talking about putting grass under the panels, so are you familiar with the maintenance plan? I mean, I think that's something that would be looking for from you all of, it is in perpetuity or at least 3 years out, and irrigation and just,
How it gets managed.
yeah, is
Whether it
important to
gets,
us.
whether it
for
gets
sure.
mowed, and if it does, how that works
Yeah.
with the height of the panels and.
Right. And then decommissioning, one of the concerns we have is degradation as panels age. So a decommissioning plan and a bond we look for, such that if you would abandon the project, that you would be charged, and frankly, it helps the owners too, that they're not left with panels that are decomposing on their property. So those are kind of a few of my preliminary questions.
Yeah, and there was a lot that was discussed with the previous application, and I'm curious how much of that, aside from the layout that's changed pretty dramatically, is going to remain as part of your application.
Well, I know that the bond was changed because it's smaller now. I know that the maintenance plan is something that needs to be tackled. That is definitely going to be, there are ways to do it. You can run some sheep there on there, but I'm only kidding really, but
Good work.
there is a maintenance
Concede.
plan in place right now inside of the application, and there's also a decommissioning plan.
Okay.
But the maintenance plan is definitely something that is going to be the one that I think I'm most need to know about and am concerned about, and, from my side. The decommissioning, we've done quite a bit of that in our 17 years of doing this, of building plants and then decommissioning plants and re-energizing plants. And so that I'm not as worried about. So we don't plan to use concrete as a ballast for the actual support beams, so that's going to make it a lot easier to bring it back into its natural state. But yeah, the plan is in place. And I'll make sure to review it and make sure it makes sense, because that's what it has to do for us.
I'm interested in the inverters. We've all been waiting for technology to catch up with the old technology that people have used. So that sounds like the inverters, that sounds like a real progress. I would think, for sure.
Yeah, what's nice is that they won't be sitting on concrete. They'll be bolted to the actual structure that holds the panels in place, so they'll be off the ground. There are some interesting developments happening, but those inverters, they're actually not that large. They're about this wide and about that high, and there'll be about 15 of them inside the array. So I don't know how much they've really changed, actually. You know, this would be a lot like the ones that you see at people's homes when they're like attached to the wall, but they're just a little bit bigger. Yeah.
I think just the configuration of them sounds like it's changed, where they're not separate from the panels, that they're
Yeah.
not sitting on a concrete pad.
Yeah, and so the original array was set up more like an industrial sort of utility scale array, where you do have that large, big 500 kW piece of equipment, which would be bigger than this table, right? And just sitting on a concrete pad. And so one thing that's nice about having distributed inverters is that you have more places where things can fail, but when one thing fails, it doesn't mean that the whole thing fails.
Doesn't shut the
Right,
whole
yeah,
system
so
down.
that's one of the reasons that they're becoming popular in solar systems of this size.
Redundancy.
Yeah, redundancy, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Other question, Eversource, interconnection agreement,
We're in the queue.
you're in the queue.
Right.
You and many, I know.
Right, but they're going to accelerate that. They are accelerating the, essentially, what happened was that the Inflation Reduction Act is becoming less relevant in the solar industry right now. And so but there are folks that want to make sure that they get certain things done so that they can take advantage of some of those things. And so that's why Eversource is accelerating the build out of its grid.
Does the fire department need to revisit this? It's
They
smaller,
should.
right?
Probably,
Yeah.
they should be given the opportunity to, actually, that was one of the things that I noted
Yeah.
on the swept path analysis, that there were a couple of places where the swept path actually went over the edges, and one that the fence might suffer a little.
Okay.
And that probably bears a little bit more scrutiny.
Right.
Yep.
And I noticed vegetation, is there a fence around this? I know I couldn't vote on this, I had just joined.
So it
the
looks
board.
like there's a fence, and it looks like the fence is located at 50 feet from the property line. But we've got a 75-foot setback, so that was actually another question.
Okay.
So the fence is shown at 50 feet from the property line, but according
Back
to
75.
595.1.3, it should be 75 feet.
I can certainly review that.
Eric, when was the first time you came in front of us?
I think it was in 2023.
So you think that
I'm thinking maybe it was prior to
The
when it was
s-
50, right? Your setback was 50 at one point.
it was prior to this one,
Yep,
so we'd have to look at that.
right. I
So
think they,
is it the previous
Do you have a freeze?
bylaw that's in effect for this?
well, they may not have a freeze. I don't know that they went through the subdivision approval process, but remember, this is, the fact that they're in front of you now is
Yeah.
tied to the previous application.
I
So
know.
I think it'd be
Right.
appropriate for you to
Confirm that.
well, keep them within the
But to keep-
bounds of the original, the zoning bylaw.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then I think it was 50. It went
Right.
to 75 with this.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that question didn't come up last time.
Mhm.
And that's the only reason I think it may,
Still be on
right.
the 20,
I could imagine that would have been a major sticking point for you
yeah, yeah.
originally when it was in
Right,
front of
because
you,
we-
so. I'm assuming 50 feet is correct, but let me look into it.
Yeah, okay.
Your confirmation.
Yeah, the 2023 was, I believe.
I
Well,
think we were working under the October
Yeah,
bylaw.
October,
and
or the April 23.
And then if there is a fence, I don't remember in this one, if there are wildlife corridors, you know, in the fence and all that,
I think when you talked about this one originally, there was an idea to raise the fence up 6 or 8
6 or-
inches.
Yeah.
Is normally what you
So
guys
they could
do.
go under,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
That's typical.
yeah. So I think we'd want that.
Well, I'm looking at the April 24, 2023, and it's 75 feet.
Let's look. I'll do a little research into it.
Okay.
We'll figure it
All
out.
right.
I'm
All
just surprised that that question didn't come up at the last round, you know?
Yeah. So, anyway,
Yeah, let
we
me look
should
into it.
confirm that, mostly because we've been hard and fast on that.
Right.
So 53G?
Yeah, I think we need to,
We have one established
We've got one.
already. We'll ask Allen and Majors to do a review of the revised changes to the
Okay.
project. Eric, are you aware, are there any active cranberry bogs on the property?
I I think they're sort of quasi-active right now, one of them. I don't know the extent that the cranberries are being sold right now. I think it goes in and out of activity.
Okay.
I don't know the details. What can I?
I'm just trying to think if, under the operation and maintenance plan, I know the planning board has had concerns about irrigation of these type of fields on other applications. And my thought is, if there's active cranberry harvesting or cultivating, whether that cultivation happens by gravity-fed bogs or if they're pumped bogs, like water is pumped into them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were pumped bogs, then you may have a pumping system to feed any type of irrigation equipment that may be a consideration of the board.
Okay.
But
Was there any wetlands? Again, I'm sorry, I wasn't involved in the first one. Was there Concom involved in this one?
so they have a approved order of conditions
They have
from
an
the
order of
Conservation
conditions.
Commission.
Okay. And this doesn't affect, these changes, better, not worse, don't affect that approval, correct?
They would have to amend, before they start construction, they'd have to amend the order of conditions,
Okay.
just to at least get the revised plans in front of the Concom. It would be up to the Concom to make the determination if they wanted to review the new set.
Okay.
Normally, the Concom relies mainly on the planning board's review of the stormwater management.
Okay.
Where this is, really nothing has changed except removing the array on the, I'll call it Plan West, Plan West. I don't know that the Concom would really have much input, but they may be interested in the revisions to the stormwater calcs. But
yeah, this is a diminishment of, so I think that's in your favor with Concom.
Yeah, In this case, less is more.
Exactly.
Right.
Particularly from our side of the table.
Okay.
Questions?
I'm good. Any more questions?
You know, I hate solar, as you probably know. I like what you've done. I appreciate what you've done. It's a vast improvement. No batteries is huge for me and the environment. We do have a public hearing. I'm done.
We still have Alan Majors to hear from,
Yep.
and maintenance plan and all of that, so, okay.
Yeah, it's a sort of a laundry list that we've sort of gone through of things
Okay.
that we'd like to know more about, and get Ellen and Major to do their review.
Kind of know our they usually know our laundry list,
Yeah,
yeah, at
yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So procedurally, do we go get them to review it on a, sort of on a limit, more of like a kind of a limited basis, or?
I think that Ellen and Major could weigh in on the, well, Paul's here,
Yeah.
weigh in on,
Happen to be
but
here.
we,
Oh, wow.
a review has already been done, and where the project has shrunken, I think that the existing review could be used as the basis for a revised one that reflects this project now. But I think that they need to put their eyes on it.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. I
So-
just didn't know whether it was gonna be like a full review or more of a,
But
Like-
I would guess that
Not-
that Alan and Major would be able to use some of the existing review that was done.
Let's, let,
utilized previous review, and then, of course, we had to sign off.
Oh, can you come up to a mic?
Sorry,
Sorry.
For the record, Paul Matos with Allen and Major Associates.
Thank you.
So yeah, we've done the original peer review. We did a sign-off letter back then, and then we could just compare this plan as it relates to the previously approved plan and make any notes on what has been modified. If, again, if they got rid of a whole array and everything on the east side is still exactly the same with the same stormwater footprint for the basin and stuff like that, then everything should be able to get a quick sign-off. on it, but,
Move
yeah.
forward quickly. Yeah, okay.
Public? I think we have some people who may want to speak.
public hearing.
Yes. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak?
And Eric.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. Annie Hayes, Anniehayes, 52 Farmers. I appreciate the effort and the minimizing. I think nonetheless, there's still a lot more to do with the investigation of panels, coatings. And I've submitted a lot of information about this. What was happening, just as I was tailing off with the projects where I submitted, was the convergence of AI and nanotechnology. And so when you talk about the UL standards, the underwriter's laboratory listing, to guarantee that the panels have rigorous testing for safety and performance. I have read a lot about safety and performance. And, they'll do a heat test that's in a cubicle in a factory somewhere. And that is not up to 25 years in a very humid environment like our own. And they talk about it now, that it's so far from the reality in the field. And they're evolving, perhaps, but there really needs to be scrutiny about what these tests are, what the criterion are for rigorous testing for safety, performance. And when you talk about free of per and polyfluoral substances, the PFAS, that's just a small area. Now that there is AI combined with nanotechnology, let me read, there are lots of articles. Okay, Bridging Nanomanufacturing and Artificial Intelligence. This is from the National Institute of Health. This review delineates the evolution of nanomaterials and nanomanufacturing in the digital age for applications in medicine, robotics, sensory technology. The use of coatings is the bucks. It's the big bucks, because if you have coatings that make the sunlight more not reflective, anti-reflective coating, then you're getting more energy. If you have a hydrophobic coating that makes sure that nothing is holding on to obstruct the sunlight, from raindrops to bird feces, the whole works. Dust, sand that gets whipped up from, say, if you have solar arrays that have been put on top of strip minings and the platform is sand. There are all these considerations, and if you can get the AI and the nanomaterials to take care of more and more of these issues, and you get more and more sunlight, you're making a lot more money. So, I mean, you're also having more efficiency, but the nanoparticles themselves are so potentially dangerous. So let me read another article, Nano and AI, a Nobel partnership. This is from ACS Publications. These are all like 2024. As AI becomes more integrated into nanoscience and technology, it is crucial to address safety and ethical issues. When you look at the literature, the advertising of the nanomaterials and what they can do, and it's often just proprietary, advances. They don't spell things out. They are always countered by articles much, much less prominent that are warning about the toxicity, the danger of such teensy-weensy particles that are airborne, waterborne, and they do degrade from these coatings. And so it's so important that it's not just a gross no PFAS, not that kind of a sweep, it's more. Let me just read one thing that's from the NIH too, talking about titanium dioxide, which is used a lot in coatings. The white material has a wide range of applications in photocatalysis, in the pharmaceutical industry and in food processing sectors. Its practical uses stem from its dual feature to act as both a semiconductor and light scatterer. Optical performance is therefore of relevance in understanding how titanium dioxide impacts these industries. Recent breakthroughs are summarized herein, focusing on whether restructuring the surface properties of titanium dioxide, that would refer to nanoparticles, either enhances or inhibits its reactivity depending on the required application. Its recent exposure as a potential carcinogen to humans has been linked to controversies around titanium dioxide's toxicity. This is discussed by illustrating discrepancies between experimental protocols of toxicity assays and their results. In all, it is important to review the latest achievements in fast-growing industries where titanium dioxide prevails while keeping in mind insights into its disputed toxicity. So
if you can you sort of synthesize this or provide us with articles that we can
Well,
look
I've
at
already
for the-
submitted a lot, and I know that my synthesis is lacking because I just get bombarded with this stuff, and it is so powerful. It's an in-depth study.
Yeah.
And so when I hear people say that there's been a review, and I want to know what the review is. I want to know what the UL is, because over and over and over, it's accentuated that the study for health and safety is so far behind. And now with the diminishment of these agencies, guess what, you know? So it really is so important because we have no idea the net results of this stuff. Thank
Yes,
you.
we have no idea the net result. Trying to boil down what information is available to us and figure out how we can apply it, so.
Well, it's really, it's a science, and I suggest you get maybe a person who can really do that synthesis, because they have been using the language in there. I mean, it's a constant, it's coming so fast, so fast.
We're fully aware of how fast it's coming, painfully so.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Anyone else?
Eric.
Yes, Eric.
Can I have a look at your drawing here for a second?
Sure.
Eric Lintola, Squirrel Island Road, Wareham. There's something I just want to say about the new proposal, and I will back up just slightly to the past proposal, which I find something interesting there. I still have, the first thing when I look at this, a major concern was what's on the new proposal where the solar array would go, as was on the other proposal. There's less of this, but the footprint of cutting down all the trees is the same. They have on their map, their new map here is proposed tree clearing, and it's the same footprint as the last footprint, which is a considerable, I don't know why that amount of trees has to be cut down. That's the issue with this. This is a major forested area, and it is a habitat area. It might not be a primary habitat, but it is a habitat of concern, and it is listed on the government sites, which I can resubmit, and I will resubmit. On what was mentioned earlier, also the bogs that are there. In the 20 years I've walked those, they've never produced cranberries. They're basically it's been overgrown. South, I don't know, but I do know the whole northern section has been derelict all this time, which is going back to nature, which is good. At the same time, I also wonder why not that spot to put the solar panels? There's a lot of that land right there, as can be seen even on their map. But looking at their last proposal, the other area of concern, or was of less concern, was the blue area here. There's a major solar site just north of it. This is a dirt road that does come in. Looking at the size of that this proposed field, if it was extended south just a little bit more, I wonder how much electricity produced there would be compared to what they've cut back here. This is already surrounded, like I said, solar, residential. It's of little concern, it's a lot less concern of a habitat than what the large forested area is. It's a thought. I would have no issues if it was feasible. I don't know if it's feasible, if it will produce enough electricity to, help the family. I do commend, though, this is the first proposal I've seen where somebody's come back and really has tried hard to, appease the residents, people of concern. I do applaud you for that. And, because you're working to try to help the family as well. And I think it's good. I think it's workable. I hope maybe you could consider that as a possibility. Just look into it.
We actually did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so there wasn't enough space to actually use it exclusively. So we reverted to trying to just have one area. And your other points are well taken too.
And so the last thing then, you're, and no disrespect, you're a contractor, but not a solar developer. But you,
Correct. I mean, like I said, I've developed 3 or 4 solar farms.
all right, no, I just, my,
I'm not the, you know, the large organization that puts together portfolios and, you know,
yeah,
sells
I
them.
guess my question was, is some of the concerns that there may still be, there's a lot less, and, you know, the less battery storage, it was excellent. I didn't know if any other, you know, of an expert in there, if any other expert, you know, should be brought in for any other questioning, if there is. But it's just a thought, just to make sure all the i's are dotted, t's are crossed. So yeah, that's, I still am very concerned by the amount of the trees that are gonna be cut, and it is still a very reliable habitat area. But.
Yeah, I noticed that the fence goes sort of around that lower part still, and I need to figure that out, so.
Yeah, the fence, you know, the fencing, you know, helps some animals and doesn't help others. All those solar fields that's going in that I walk around in that, all of the patterns of the wildlife have changed, even the birds. That little bit of fencing underneath, I don't think does all that much. For one thing, I've seen animals avoid it, even those, I've seen fox, they go around the fence. They don't go under it or through, they'll go all the way around. Just, I think going into that kind of an environment kind of freaks them out a little bit, I would think, but. Anyhow, that's all I've got to say right now. We'll see what goes on later on, or if there's any other issues, but good points, and I thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
John, is there anyone online?
No, just that.
Pat?
Yes.
Oh. Thanks. Yep.
Let's see here.
You want to do this? Go further out?
No, that's good, that's good. There we go. Hi, my name is Patricia Harju Zimmer. It's Harjuzimmer. And I'm going to calm down. The
Take a
first
deep
thing I
breath.
want to tell you is that cranberry growers, they don't die, they just fade away. But I can tell you that the new bog in particular, which would be closest to this solar array, was producing berries up until 2023. And the size of the crop has declined. Basically, I mean, COVID didn't help it any, that's for sure. And since then, getting the labor has just been impossible. But what I wanted to tell the board was that my primary concern is to keep this property in a conserved manner. And what I don't want to see houses across 60 acres. The solar panels that I live with that are next to the house, they don't call the police, they don't send kids to school. They just stand there. And I would like to have a little bit of income from the solar project. And I'm also considering, I'm in negotiations with Mass Audubon to create a bird sanctuary, which is something that I've always wanted. And that's, to my mind, it's the best use of the land. And it would also be good for the wildlife, because since I noticed an increase in the population when the mall went in, there was a lot of wildlife and bird activity. has come to us, which I'm thrilled with, but I'd like to keep it as a place that they want to be. And that's my top concern, and I know I've expressed that to Eric, that the solar field is not to interfere with the wildlife or with the birds. So I sincerely hope that you can see your way clear to approve this, because I really would like to do this. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Unless you have any questions for me. Okay.
No, we appreciate your position.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for coming to talk to us. Any other? What's that? I am thinking that what we've got on the 22nd is probably enough,
Get to everything.
and that we should probably move to the January 12th meeting, which is the next one after the 22nd. And that will give Ellen and Major time to review the existing review and update it based on this.
To be clear, there was something about stormwater that you saw that you wanted to be reviewed. Is that correct?
Paul, you were
I
saying,
mentioned that we will review the original drainage calculations that were done
Okay.
for the project, and then we'll
Okay.
compare it to what's being proposed today.
Okay,
And if anything changed, we'll make note of that in the
okay,
peer review letter.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that everything was there.
yeah, I think that was the comment on stormwater. So are you okay with the 12th of January?
I think so, yeah, I think we can make that meeting work. I might have to come in via Zoom on that meeting, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, if it needs to move at all, let us know.
Okay, no, I can do the 12th.
Okay.
Is that, if everything's okay with Allen and Majors, would that be where you all would potentially approve the meeting, or approve the,
It would be unusual if we did it that quickly.
okay,
We're going to try and go quickly because we understand that this has been through a lot of scrutiny in the past.
yeah,
So we will try to be expedient about it, but it takes us a little bit of time. You know, Julie's somewhat new to this project, so,
But I think things like maintenance plan, the decommissioning, anything Allen and Majors might bring up,
yep.
Yep.
important to
I hear you.
respond.
Makes sense.
So you don't get the back and forth of letters, so.
Yep,
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yep.
that makes a lot of sense.
And review of the 50 to 75-foot setback, and
Yes,
Yep,
review of the swept
Okay.
swept path analysis.
Sense.
And,
yes.
you can understand from our standpoint, we're anxious to
absolutely, it's
make
been a
it
while.
happen. Yeah,
It's been a while, particularly where we went
We
through
promise
this
it won't
already.
take 6 years.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that the composition of the panels is of a lot of concern to everyone, the community. We are veterans of solar farms, so that is a very
That's a
hot
hot button.
topic.
yeah.
So any further assurance you could give us around that would go a long way, as it is.
Particularly,
So-
any solidity or, solidity to your plans for what panels you might be using. If you can provide that, that would be.
It's specified, yeah, it is
Okay.
specified, yeah, and we, we were advised of these, and so they're the ones that anyone who's,
Do you have any sense of what the interconnect, when the interconnect, you said you're in the queue, do they give you any sense of timing on that?
yeah, they're trying to have folks connected by the end of 2028, but it's happening a lot faster for some projects.
Okay.
So they've accelerated the work that they're doing.
Good news, because it's been years.
Yeah, well, that means we've got 2 years to, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know, I mean, it's, there will be, certain, even not being able to know where this is going this year is gonna have a pretty, it's gonna impact the project because of certain tax codes that are changing. And so, that's why it's difficult, because if we have to wait longer, then we can't really do the things you have to do when you're trying to get something built by 2028, which is, we have to be there when the utility's ready to, move forward. So, I think we'll do our best. But not knowing that it's gonna happen is, what is the difficulty here? I mean, when you think about what's happened so far, we had everything in place, and Allen and Majors had done their review, Concom had done their review, and all we did was make it smaller, right? And so I just, as it gets more expensive for us, then I can't, they don't, it becomes less viable, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and we're-
I'm being totally honest,
Sure.
and it's,
Yeah.
I think
No.
what's going on at the Fed level is tough for, who knows,
For everybody.
to predict.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough to predict, is right.
Yeah. Mm.
So,
so whatever I can know that could, possibly make it happen, or what could, we'll, if we could do a meeting earlier, or, we'd be, I know 22nd is looking kind of stacked up, but
Yeah.
anything.
yeah,
that we
we've got
could,
some projects that are gonna take a bunch of our time on the 22nd, and I think it would,
But if we
Right.
should,
we'd get
if in
jammed up
January,
against.
we could have it wrapped up.
Yeah, well-
Allen Majors, and you've responded to anything,
Yeah.
made the changes that they may request.
Okay.
Yeah, we may be able to move things
Yeah,
forward
because
fairly
we're,
quickly at that
as I
point.
said, as veterans now of solar, we have conditions that we impose,
Mm-hmm.
not
I think we may have
overly
drafted the
onerous.
decision for this one too.
I think we
What?
might
We have
have,
a draft decision already
we did.
prepared
Think
for
we
this
do.
one as well.
Yeah, right,
So-
so.
Yeah, and
Let's-
I mean, you guys have been obviously inundated, I get it, I don't,
we have 19 farms in town.
Right,
With
I
10
mean-
that are unbuilt and approved.
And our citizens, unfortunately, there are some that are right next to each other, so we have some citizens that are heavily, heavily impacted,
yeah,
not in a good way.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not, it's
They
not,
get no benefit and they just get the burden,
Yeah,
so.
so,
okay.
anyway,
All right.
so I guess we need to vote to continue to
January 12th.
January 12th.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
like Deputy Stack.
Julie Moran, aye.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye.
Thank you.
So we'll see you on the 12th.
All right, thank you.
Say hi to
Thanks,
Austin for
guys.
me.
I will. It's a little warmer there.
Yeah, my daughter's a teacher there,
Uh,
Lake Travis, Lakeway.
Oh, great, that's a cool community.
No.
Have you been?
Oh, many times.
Motion to adjourn.
You gonna second him?
Oh, I thought we had.
If we don't have any other business,
Oh, I don't
sorry.
have any.
Oh, I asked first.
second,
We'd do that
All
one
in
last thing.
favor?
like Deputy Stack.
Julie Moran, aye, sorry.
Sam Corbett, aye.
Jane Gleason, aye. Adjourned at 8:15.